Start recording. So welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji to enlighten us on Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrta. So today is the 34th session of book 2. So thank you so much Mataji for giving your valuable association and time. Now I would like to hand over the call to you Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you all so much. Such a pleasure to see everybody, and it's so nice. It's very exciting when we see all the devotees. Thank you very much for coming on the call and giving us your association. Thanks to everyone who joined. So we are continuing our study of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrta, and this is book 2, the journey of Gopakumar to all the way to Goloka Vrindavan. And this is session number 34. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Sharakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum nandayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam. Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Swamim Nitinamani. Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamani. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschayate Deshatarini. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Thank you all so much for joining. All glories to Srila Sanatan Goswami, the author of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrta. So in our previous session, we saw some very, very interesting pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. So we saw the pastime of Kaliya, how Krishna danced on the hoods of the Kaliya along with the gopis. And we also witnessed the different emotions of all the devotees. Each one was going through a specific emotion, and we just relished all of their exchanges with Krishna. So time went on, and Sarupa, who's actually Gopakumar, continued telling his story. So he said, then once 2 great demons, they entered the cowherd village of Nanda Maharaj with their vast bodies touching the sky. Their roars were simply throwing everyone to the ground. They were coming together. And these 2 demons were Keshi, who's the horse demon, and Arishta, who's the bull demon. Both of them came to Vrajabhumi together in Goloka Vrindavan. And these 2 were the most favorite servants of Kamsa. In the previous Leela, when we discussed Kaliya Leela, we saw that there was a mix of heroism that was shown by Krishna, which is Virya Rasa, and there was also pathos, meaning the associates of Lord Sri Krishna were immersed in anxiety. But here, in this particular Leela, where Krishna was to deal with both Keshi and Arishtasura simultaneously, at that time, it was only Virya Rasa. So this was going to be very, very exciting for the cowherd boys. So these 2 demons, they entered the village, and hearing these noises that was heard everywhere in the land, Krishna, he thought that he must immediately go and encounter these 2 demons. But however, the women in the community, they were so anxious. So they wanted to prevent Krishna, and they tried to pull him back, and they stopped him with all their effort. But then Krishna, he spoke to them, and he reassured everybody that he would be completely capable of dealing with these 2 demons and slapping his arms and showing his strength. He told them, I'm very strong. I can deal with them. So I will go forward. So finally, he convinced the people at home, and he ran very, very fast out to the forest to deal with these 2 demons. Now, Keshi, he's the horse demon. So he came running very fast and he approached Krishna, and he was the first one to approach Krishna. So when he came running towards Krishna like that, Krishna gave him a good kick. He just kicked him and tossed him away far. And then after Keshi was thrown back like that, Arishtasura, he then came and he tried to confront Krishna. And Krishna, he began to subdue Arishtasura. So Arishtasura was a bull. So he began to subdue him, holding his horns. And finally, after the bull was subdued, he gave Arishtasura as a gift to Gopeshwar Mahadev, who is actually there even in the spiritual world, just like how you see Gopeshwar Mahadev in Vrajabhumi on earth. So, Lord Shiva, he rides on a bull. So Arishta became a gift to Gopeshwar Mahadev, so that Gopeshwar Mahadev could actually ride on Arishtasura and make him his carrier. And he would, this way, once Arishta became the carrier of Lord Shiva, it would prevent Arishtasura from wandering about here and there, causing trouble to everyone. So like this, he was subdued and he was given as a gift to Gopeshwar. And then he just kicked Keshi, right? So Keshi was not, he was not really controlled. So Keshi came back. He came back running. Now Krishna, he wanted to show his valor. Krishna's valor is unstoppable. So Krishna, this time what he did was he held on to Keshi and forcibly mounted on him. The horse was running and coming. Krishna caught on to Keshi and he forcibly mounted on him. And he began to control Keshi with the movement of his hands. So like this, he began to control Keshi, who was running very fast. And Krishna was also very fast, because Krishna is Amanda Vikrama, meaning he is very fast and his abilities have absolutely no limit. So with the motion of his swift hands, he controlled the horse and he made the horse jump in various ways. And also what he did was, as the horse was getting controlled, he invited his friends to jump onto the horse. So he gave everybody a chance. He called all the cowherd boys and he all asked them to take a chance. And each one of them started mounting on the horse, and this horse was jumping from the sky to the earth, meaning the land of Vrajabhumi, there in the spiritual world, and up to the sky. So like this, the horse was jumping and all these boys got a chance, 2-minute chance to jump on Keshi and have a good ride. And then after Keshi was completely controlled, Krishna then tied him up and took him to the cowherd village and kept the horse there so that this horse could serve as an entertainer. Whenever the boys needed some entertainment, they would take a horse ride. So like that, Keshi became, Keshi became one of their favorite pets, where they could take a horse ride on Keshi. And Arishtasura, not only was he serving Gopeshwar Mahadev as his carrier, but sometimes Krishna would even call him in the cow pasturing land and make him, like how in those days we had bulls to help with pasturing the land, for farming the land. So like that, Arishtasura was invited once in a while to help with farming. And also we see that bullock carts were very common previously. So similarly, in the spiritual world, Arishtasura would also be used in the bullock cart because he was a bull. So like this, the pastimes in the spiritual world continued. There was Virya Rasa, meaning Krishna enjoyed pastimes by subduing these so-called asuras. And then he also engaged them in wonderful service, and they became very blissful being engaged in the service of Krishna. So these are some fun pastimes in the spiritual world. But however, now we are going to go back to a different rasa, back to pathos. One day, when Krishna was living in this town of Nandigram, where Nanda Maharaja's house is, Akrura, who's Kamsa's favorite, I wouldn't say favorite, but his important messenger. So once Akrura, on Kamsa's order, he was sent to Vraja from Madhupuri. Now Madhupuri was close by and Kamsa had sent this Akrura. And this is one of the worst pastimes, this pastime of Akrura taking away Krishna from Vrajabhumi to Mathura. It was the most heartbreaking pastime that anybody could have. So this was full of Karuna Rasa. It was invoking a lot of compassion. And when one hears this pastime of Akrura taking away Krishna, even stones and logs would just shatter. Everyone would shatter, hearing the feelings of the Vrajavasis. That night, when Akrura had arrived, all the residents of Vraja, they already got the news that Akrura was coming, and they knew the reason. Somehow the rumors spread, and they knew the reasons for why actually Akrura was coming. They understood that there is some purpose of Akrura coming. He's going to take away Krishna. So all the Vrajavasis, they were crying miserably and they were lamenting very, very profusely. And Yashoda Ma, she was so terrified. She was so terrified that if Akrura comes and takes away Krishna, what would she do? So therefore, in fear of Kamsa and Akrura, Yashoda, she was protecting her child with a lot of love by covering him with her sari. So she was giving him protection under her cloth and she was covering him, and she was continuously chanting all sorts of special mantras for his protection so that he wouldn't be taken away. And then when Nanda Maharaj woke up in the morning, as it dawned, Akrura came forward and he explained various things to Nanda Maharaj, and he presented numerous arguments to convince him that Krishna had to be taken to Madhupuri. And Nanda in turn, he had the job of convincing Yashoda. Yashoda wouldn't listen. She was so overpowered by love. She just didn't want to leave her son even for a minute. She was holding on to him. She was covering him with her sari. But Nanda Maharaj had to take a logical stand. So Nanda Maharaj, he tried to convince Yashoda, and he convinced her and he took hold of Krishna and he brought Krishna outside the house. And Akrura and Nanda Maharaj, they were talking to each other. And Akrura told Nanda Maharaj, look, your son is completely capable of taking care of himself. Even if he goes to Mathura, he will come and he will help us. And he's very independent. He will be able to take care of himself. So somehow, please let Krishna come with me. And Nanda Maharaj had absolutely no choice. He had to leave his son Krishna, and he knew that he could also accompany Krishna with some of the cowherd men so that Krishna would stay safe. Now, the gopis, they didn't like this idea at all. They were watching all this very, very hopelessly, and they began to cry in agony. And Yashoda Ma, she came running outside and she was wiping her tears again and again. And everybody was telling her, it is something temporary. Krishna will go and he'll come back. He just has some important business there. The situation in Mathura is bad, but Krishna will surely come back. So then Yashoda, she went, and then very lovingly, she took Krishna's lotus hands and she gave it to Akrura for safe deposit, for safekeeping with Akrura. So she was intending to tell Akrura that, see, I have given you my son, now it's your responsibility. You have to keep up your promise and give me back my Krishna very, very soon. And Nanda Maharaj, she called him separately and she told him, see, understand now, you are taking Krishna along with Akrura, you're going to Madhupuri to finish a business, meaning you're going there to help the Mathurapuri Vasis like Devaki and Vasudev who are being tortured by Kamsa. But you have to carefully remember this. This Krishna, he's our son only. I am giving you my little Krishna for safekeeping. You have to be careful and do not trust anybody on this matter. He's our child. So we have to take complete responsibility. I cannot trust Akrura completely. You have to make sure that you and my child return back once you go to Mathura. So like this, she was advising her husband not to keep too much trust on anyone, but completely take care of Krishna and make sure that when he returns, Krishna comes back. Like this, Yashoda, with a very, very heavy heart, she had to let go of Krishna. She fainted again and again, and she had to stay back. And all the women, when they heard this news that Yashoda had let go of Krishna, they all started crying and lamenting in various ways, and they felt so shattered. They had absolutely no hope at all. They all came and they cried to Yashoda, and they said, oh, Yashoda, you're so simple-hearted. How could you let Krishna go like that? And this Yashoda, she was trying to tell the other ladies in Vraja, it's okay. I know he's my son, and I know that he will come back. And I've given my son to Akrura. Actually, Akrura is a saintly person. He will not betray me. And my husband has gone with him. Nanda Maharaj is very, very responsible. He has gone there with him. So surely my son will come back. Now you ladies, you please don't worry. So like this, innocently, she was trying to explain to the Brajavasis. However, the other ladies, they were so fed up. They said, do you have any sense, Yashoda? You have offered a calf in the hands of a tiger. See how a cow behaves. A cow is always protective of a calf. But what have you done? What have you done? Instead of, taking care of him, you have given this calf to a tiger. Now our Krishna is never going to come back. And what is the use of you sitting in this house? This house is as good as burned down, because without Krishna, there is no happiness in any home. So like this, they were chastising her for allowing Krishna to be taken by Akrura. And then after all the ladies spoke like this, everybody ran after Akrura's chariot. And meanwhile, Krishna was seated on the chariot and he was about to leave. So everybody, they began to follow the chariot and they became hopelessly bewildered. And after some time, Krishna, who was sitting on the chariot, he realized that the gopis were in a frenzy. Everybody, all the gopis had surrounded the chariot and they were going crazy. So he could understand the situation of the gopis, and forcibly Krishna just got down from the chariot and he was trying to revive all these gopis who were fainted. And in 1 second, Krishna was surrounded by so many gopis, and these gopis somehow managed to take away Krishna. Krishna disappeared into the forest grove with all the gopis. He disappeared from the sight of Akrura. Suddenly, Krishna was missing in the chariot, and Akrura realized that actually Krishna was not anymore on his chariot and he had suddenly disappeared. So he felt so much remorse for what had happened. Akrura thought, 1 second of carelessness, Krishna is gone. He's gone. The gopis have captured him and taken him into the groves of Vrindavan. Then Akrura, he had to solve the problem. So he called out for Balaram. And he began to convince Balaram with very clever words. He told, see, Balaram, I take you into full confidence and understand the situation. Devaki and Vasudev, they are so agonized. In fact, not just them, all the Yadavas present there, we are all suffering in the absence of Krishna. Try to understand this. Krishna needs to go to Mathura for their sake. And Balaram could understand the mood of Akrura because Vasudeva was his father as well. So Balaram could understand the seriousness of the situation, that Vasudeva and Devaki had to be rescued. And Balaram wanted to help. So Akrura and Balaram, they began to search together for Krishna in the groves of Vrindavan because they could follow the footprints of Krishna. And finally, they located where Krishna and the gopis had escaped. And finding Krishna surrounded by so many gopis, Balaram, very respectfully, he stood at a distance. But then Akrura, he was an older person, so he approached them with a very tearful voice and he told Krishna, Krishna, please understand, this is something serious. This evil Kamsa, he is harassing your old parents and they're completely burdened by fear and sorrow and pain, and there is in fact every chance that Kamsa can kill them. Even if Kamsa doesn't kill them right away, they might die out of the distress that they are feeling in the future. And these Yadavas, they have absolutely no shelter other than you. They have no shelter. And in great distress, they are watching the path for your arrival with their eyes fixed on the path. They are burning in this fire of lamentation and they are completely terrorized by this Kamsa. So please do not deprive them of their hope. Everybody is depending on you to help Krishna. All the Yadavas, the Brahmanas like Gargamuni, the Vaishnavas, everybody is depending on you, Krishna. So please come and help. They are in great distress and they are burned by sorrow. If you do not return, if you do not come to Mathura Puri, then they are simply going to be devastated. So this is very, very serious. Krishna, please help. And even at that time, Krishna failed to respond because the gopis were completely surrounding him and the gopis did not want Krishna to go. And then Akrura, again he tried. He said, Krishna, Kamsa is the subduer of his enemies and he's constantly bragging about his strength. He has absolutely no regard for anyone. He's worshipped by demons like Narakasura and Bhanasura, and they are his allies and they are all supporting him. He's getting out of control. Please understand the seriousness and somehow come with me to Mathura. Then Akrura, he took blades of grass between his teeth and he cried over and over and he began to beg. He began to beg Krishna. The name Akrura, it means one who's not cruel. Krura is cruel and Akrura means one who's not cruel. So this uncruel person, he paid obeisances to Krishna again and again, and because Krishna was not responding, he started begging all the Vrajavasis one by one. So Akrura could understand that Krishna was not leaving the grove of Vrindavan because he was controlled by the love of the gopis. So therefore, with all his humility, with blades of grass between his teeth, he started approaching each and every gopi. And he was begging all the gopis one by one. Now, this begging was perceived by the gopis as the most krura, the most cruel act. So according to the gopis, his name Akrura is not befitting to him. He is all cruel. He's the most krura. That's how they were seeing him. And Akrura, he went and he started begging them. He said, oh ladies, don't be the death for the Yadu dynasty. Don't be the death for our Devaki and Vasudev. Please, please, somehow you help these parents of Krishna, Devaki and Vasudev. They are in great distress. He explained to the gopis that Vasudev and Devaki would be the first one to be killed because of this wrath of Kamsa. So again and again, he requested the gopis to give their blessings for the auspicious journey and somehow permit Krishna to leave with Akrura. When the gopis were begged like this again and again, when Akrura gave so many reasons that Devaki and Vasudeva are the parents and they are in great distress and they could die. And when the gopis heard all this, they said, what? You cheat? You're speaking lies. You are a true follower of Kamsa. You are a cheater. What are you talking about? Who is Vasudeva and Devaki? They are not the parents of Krishna. We know Krishna's parents. Krishna's parents are Nanda and Yashoda. You're actually a murderer. You're calling us a murderer, that we are the reason for the cause of death of Devaki and Vasudeva. But you are indeed a murderer because you're trying to kill the people of Rajabhumi. You are worried about the threat of the death of Vasudeva and Devaki that will eventually happen. Maybe in the future, maybe out of distress they will die. Maybe Kamsa will raise a sword against them. You're talking all this. But if Krishna goes, each one of us will surely die and you will be the cause of our death. So you don't become a killer of women. Think twice before you commit these sins. So like this, the gopis were arguing. They just couldn't perceive what Akrura was trying to say. And from Akrura's point of view, he was thinking, these gopis are not understanding what I am trying to tell them. So like this was going back and forth. But however, Krishna, when he heard of Kamsa's atrocities and how Krishna could be responsible for the death of his own relatives, and he saw that Balram was on the side of Akrura for the time being, that Balram agreed to go with Akrura, he humbly apologized to the gopis. And he was actually at this time, Krishna had a mixed emotion of anger and sadness. One side, he was very sad because he had to leave the company of the gopis and the Vrajavasis. It was not easy. At the same time, he was also getting very angry towards Kamsa because he really wanted to teach Kamsa a lesson. So therefore, because both these emotions were coming again and again, Krishna finally, he decided to leave because Akrura was trying to remind him that his purpose was to immediately to deal with Kamsa. Akrura, he was very, very happy when Krishna had finally made a decision, and with Balram's permission, immediately Akrura took Krishna and Balaram and they left this grove of Vrindavan with their chariots. Now, gopis, they understood finally that actually Krishna was really, really leaving. And with their eyes fixed on Krishna and their lotus faces withered, in the dread of separation, they began to cry for Krishna. They went running behind him. They caught onto his lotus feet. They pulled his lotus feet and they told him, oh master, we cannot live without you even for a moment. We have seriously no other shelter. Don't abandon us. Just take us wherever you want to go. You want to go there? Okay, just take us. For your sake, the forests have become our homes and the homes have become the forest. Our friends have become our enemies and our enemies have become our friends. For us, nectar has become poison and poison has become nectar. Without you, we'll just die. We are so meaningless without you. See, for us, these forests, they are the happiest places. Actually, generally for people, their homes should be where they're comfortable. For us, forest has become the happy place and the most comfortable place because we know that we can enjoy your company in the forest. And for us, sometimes our rival gopis, they help us relish wonderful pastimes with you and they become our friends. And sometimes our own family members who are supposed to be so friendly to us, they become our enemies because they prevent us from going out of home. Very palatable foodstuffs and sandalwood, these should all appear like nectar. But in separation of you, even for a moment, these articles, they appear like poison. And sometimes even poison is also relishable for us. Poison has become so relishable for us if you are there with us. So like this, for us, everything is surrounding you. All that we perceive is only based on your presence. If you're there, everything is wonderful. That is all we know. We just know you. So please don't leave us. So like this, when the gopis were begging, Krishna, he very calmly, he tried to convince the gopis. He told them, my dear gopis, I'm just going to relieve the distress of those family members. And you all just stay back for some time. It is not a permanent thing. You just stay back for some time and you can always engage in hearing and chanting about me. When you hear and chant about me, you're constantly going to be in connection with me. So like this, he began to explain to the gopis and he told the gopis, please understand, if I don't go, my reputation is going to be ruined. But then the gopis said, as if we care for your reputation. All that we know is you. Who cares for your reputation? Why are you so much worried about your reputation? We just hold on to our lives all the time that you will return back to us. Even when you go to the cow pasturing lands, when you're away from our vision for some time, and when you return in the dusk, those few hours also, we cannot tolerate your absence. But when you come back in the evening after pasturing after going with the cows, after you come back, we feel as if our lives are come back. So this happens on a day-to-day basis. Now you're saying that on the order of wicked Kamsa, you're going away to Mathura. And how do you expect us to hold on to our lives? We will be constantly worried about you. We'll be thinking how you will take care of yourself in that big city. We would be worried about what would happen to you, who will take care of you. I know, we all know that you showed your power when you were subduing Kalia. But still, we are scared. I know, we all know that you're very, very powerful. But then we are scared that you will become homesick and you will suffer. We cannot see you suffer, so please don't go. We cannot imagine all the trouble that you will go through to kill Kamsa. It is not easy. And you say that you will go and wipe out the miseries of the Mathura Vasis, but we really don't know how long you're going to take that to wipe out their misery. And as if you will remember us once you go there. You're bound to forget us once you find your new friends. So like this, all of them, they cried so miserably and completely they lost their minds. They were talking absolutely, they were in a total frenzy. They were crying out crazily. They were talking like as if they lost their minds. And then Krishna, he steadied himself first, and then lovingly he wiped out the tears of all the gopis, and he very calmly told them, please understand, my enemy Kamsa is very, very weak, and with no effort, I will not undergo too much trouble. With no effort, I will easily dispose him, and be assured that I am coming back. And don't keep crying like this, because this is going to create more misfortune to me. And Krishna had to leave. And then everyone, they went behind the chariot and they were trying to, stop Krishna. Meanwhile, from the village of Nanda Maharaj, all the other ladies, along with Nanda Maharaj and Rohini, everybody, Yashoda, everyone, including the animals, everyone came to this grove where Krishna was having the conversation with the gopis. So everyone came running there, and Lord Hari and Balaram, both of them, they mounted on the chariots which Akrura had brought. And with great effort, Krishna, he withdrew his glance from these young gopis who were trying to stop him. And as he was trying to take away his glance from these gopis, he could see that these gopis were fainting and falling down, and they were covered by dust, and everybody was anguished. Everyone was crying very, very with so much pain. Yashoda, Rohini, and everyone else, all the cowherd men and women had reached the spot, and they just couldn't do much. They were all just crying, fainting, falling down again and again. People around, they were trying to console Yashoda. Yashoda was devastated. More than Yashoda, these young gopis had totally lost everything. They were completely out of their senses. They had fallen down and they were very, very pitiably crying. They were just crying and crying. And then Nanda Maharaj said, he called out to these ladies and to Yashodama, and he told them, see, please understand that I'm going with Krishna. I'm accompanying Krishna to the city of Mathura, not for some sort of happiness or for some sightseeing or for the reason of giving away my son to anyone else. I cannot even accept that Krishna is someone else's son. Just like how you cannot accept that Krishna is your son, similarly, even I cannot accept that Krishna is someone else's son. I know he's my son. So you please get that clear, Yashoda. I can never leave Krishna there forever. And my intention of going is just to free Vasudeva and Devaki. And once that is done, I will surely return with Krishna. I'm going with him, so be assured that we are coming back. So like this, Nanda, he gave so many reassurances to Yashoda over and over, and Yashoda was finally pacified. And Yashoda took the task of further consoling all the other gopis. And the gopis who had fainted, Yashoda got some water and she sprinkled water on them so that they could wake up. And then she was convincing them in so many various ways, and she was lifting them from the ground. And then the cowherd men who were supposed to follow Nanda Maharaj, they all mounted their carts. Nanda also mounted his cart. Akrura started driving his chariot with Krishna and Balaram. The gopis who got up, they started running behind the chariot. They cried over and over, and their faces were completely dried up. And some of them, with their breath, they just fell under the wheels of the chariot because they wanted to give up their lives by being crushed under the wheels of the chariot. They were ready to do that. And when these gopis were running so frantically, at that time the animals in Brajabhumi, they also heard these huge cries, and they began to come and they began to surround the chariots. What to talk of cows, bulls, deers, and all these domestic animals who had so much love for Krishna. Even the wolves also, even the envious animals, the carnivorous animals, they also started coming in front of the chariot, and they were lamenting along with all the other animals. Everybody was lamenting. They didn't want the chariot to move. The birds in the sky, they were all flocking there, and they screeched and they cried and saying, they just didn't want Krishna to move any further in the chariot. And Krishna, when he saw that the animals had come, the birds had come, the gopis were falling like this under the chariot wheels, he lost all his composure and he was about to faint. And seeing that Krishna was about to faint, Akrura, he whipped very vigorously and he made the horses move fast so that he could quickly get away like an eagle, like how an eagle flies away. So quickly, he just wanted to get away from all this mess. And all these gopis, they were crying like kurari birds. They were shouting and lamenting, but they couldn't do much. Akrura, his horses were trained by Kamsa. So the horses were also like Kamsa. So therefore, Akrura, he whipped the horses and the horses really, really ran very fast. And he took away Krishna and Balaram. And Akrura, he knew he had Krishna and Balaram in his chariot. And now Krishna and Balaram were also very, very upset. They just if given a chance, they just wanted to jump out of the chariot and go back to the gopis who were in such a state and go back to these animals and all these Brajavasis. Krishna just wanted to go back, and Akrura could understand what was happening to Krishna. So Akrura, he went to this lake nearby and he started consoling Krishna and Balaram with a lot of logical arguments. And Akrura specifically, he brought Krishna and Balaram to this Brahmakunda, the lake where actually Akrura had this vision of the four-armed form of Krishna, and he brought him there and he reminded him, please understand, you have a purpose. Your purpose is to actually deal with Kamsa and teach him a lesson. That is the only reason we are taking you there, and we have to fulfill this purpose. So like this. Akrura managed to convince Krishna and Balaram, and he took away Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. So, this entire Brihad Bhagavatamrta, we should be reminded, is a conversation between Parikshit and Uttara. So therefore, now we bring back Parikshit into our script, and let's get reminded that the original conversation is between Parikshit and Uttara, and it was later, of course, recounted by Sarupa, who's telling his own story to the Mathura Brahmana. So Parikshit told his mother, "My dear mother, Sarupa, who was telling the story of himself, he fainted again and again with his voice full of grief. He wept again and again as he was trying to tell the Mathura Brahmin about the separation of the gopis and Krishna." So when Sarupa was narrating his story to the Mathura Brahmin, he was crying out so much so that he just fainted. And the Mathura Brahmin, seeing Sarupa in this condition, he was trying to wake him up. And finally, Sarupa, he also woke up and he continued his story. Sarupa then said, "Krishna, I could see all what Krishna was doing in Goloka. I could see all this. This Krishna, he went to Madhupuri, and there he met several residents like the tailor and the garland maker, and he tried to please all the residents of Mathura. He also ended up killing Kamsa, and he killed many of Kamsa's followers, and he finally delivered his parents Vasudeva and Devaki. He installed Ugrasena, who was Kamsa's father, as the king, and he brought the Yadavas from all the directions who had escaped because of Kamsa's atrocities. Many of the Yadavas, they went to different places. So he arranged for all these Yadavas to come back, and he consoled the people in Mathura. And these Yadus also, they had no other goal in life but Krishna. They were terrified by Kamsa, and out of concern for these Yadus, the Lord stayed with his elder brother for some time in Mathura, and he tried to tell Nanda Maharaj to go back. So he told Nanda Maharaj to actually go back and comfort the gopis, and he said that he would stay for some time with the Mathuravasis till they felt a little better. As he told Nanda Maharaj, now that Kamsa is dead, Jarasandha and other powerful rulers are also still alive, and they could attack Mathura at any moment. So therefore, I am needed here. I need to tackle a few other people. So therefore, my dear father, Nanda Maharaj, you go back, you go home and try to console the cowherd men and the women and tell them that I will soon come back. Now, he thought that if Nanda Maharaj returned back home, at least if Nanda went back, he could pacify the residents there in Vrindavan, and Krishna could continue to pacify the residents in Mathura, whose hearts were also distressed. So he said, Nanda Maharaj, you don't worry, I will come back. It's just going to be a short while. When Nanda was told like this to go back without Krishna, Nanda Maharaj began to retort. He said, no, how can I go back to Vrajabhumi without you? I have declared to the Vrajavasis that I can never even believe that you're someone else's son. How can I abandon you to live with someone else and just go back to Vrajabhumi? Krishna tried to understand. You have to save us. For no ever reason can I send you away from me. Wherever you go, I will also come. You can't ask me to go back. How will I go and show my face to the Vrajavasis? Please understand, your mother Yashoda is just breathing because I gave her some hope that you will surely come back. Now, what are you telling us? And then Sridham, who's the friend of Krishna, who had accompanied Nanda Maharaj, he said, Krishna, what are you talking? When we go out for grazing the cows, even for a moment, when we lose your vision, when you go behind the trees and creepers, even for that moment, I feel like I cannot live. And now you're telling that you're going to be away from us for so long? What are you talking? And Krishna, when he was hearing these complaints from Nanda Maharaj and Sridham, he didn't know what to do. He just stood there in silence. And then Vasudeva, who's the son of Surasena, he got very afraid that Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd boys and men will definitely convince Krishna to go back to Vrajabhumi. So Vasudeva, he stepped in and he said, oh Nanda, hold on. I know surely this boy is your son only. Both Krishna and Balaram, but however, they can still stay in Braja for some time. I'll assure you, they are your children. They are your children, but still they can stay in Braja for someone so that they can alleviate the distress of many people here. And not only that, it's high time that they get initiated. They are going to be 11 years old. At the age of 11, they have to undergo the sacred thread ceremony. They have to undergo brahmacharya. So for that, we will send them somewhere else. He's neither going to be with you, nor is he going to be with us. We have to send him to learn. We have to send him to Sandipani Muni's ashram. So therefore, let's send him there and let him undergo his Gurukul studies. So let's not fight over this. And then he said, but till then, till we get all the ceremonial things ready, for some days, let them stay in Madhupuri so that he can take care of things here. But surely, after he's done with his studies, he can return to Vraja. We are not going to call him here. So like this, Vasudev, he tried to convince Nanda Maharaj. And then Krishna agreed because it was logical. Anyhow, Krishna had to go for studies. So he said, okay, it's just a few days till the ceremony is complete, sacred thread ceremony is complete. He would stay with Vasudev and then later he would go there. And Lord Krishna, with the entire members of the Yadava dynasty, they understood that it was time to bid farewell to Nanda Maharaj. And Nanda Maharaj had to depart. So Nanda Maharaj also, he could understand that there was no use of arguing over and over. And one by one, all the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj, they went forward to Krishna and they embraced him by his neck and they cried so profusely, and Krishna also cried profusely. Vasudeva and other Yadavas, they saw that Krishna was all overwrought, wanting to go somehow because see, these residents of Rajabhumi, they were putting forth so many arguments again and again to Krishna now. They were trying to tell, it's okay, Krishna, you come back with us. We cannot live without you. And at the same time, the Yadavas also, they tried to solve the problem because they implored Krishna, assuring Krishna that it's going to be a short time. And very soon, once all the major catastrophes are dealt with, Krishna can deal with the Jarasandha and others. And very soon, he can go back to Vrajabhumi. So like this, it was going back and forth. These talks were going back and forth. And finally, Krishna agreed to stay and Nanda Maharaj had to leave. Nanda Maharaj, finally, he went back to the cowherd village of Vraja. And when the Vrajavasis heard that Nanda was returning, they all went out with great anxiety to receive Nanda, thinking that Nanda has actually brought Krishna. So with a lot of joy and anxiety, they all ran forward to see what, the cart in which Nanda Maharaj was returning. But then, however, when Nanda Maharaj got down from the cart, he was covering his face with a cloth because he felt so ashamed and he was overwhelmed with sorrow because he didn't bring Krishna back. And he was crying so miserably that he didn't keep up his promise. And the Vrajavasis, they were searching for Krishna. What is this? Nanda Maharaj is getting down with his face covered. But where is our Krishna? We do not see Krishna and Balram. So they were all frantically crying and they didn't know what to do. And then they went and asked Nanda, what is this? What has happened? And their faces were all dried up. And they were thinking, oh, Krishna, maybe he did, Kamsa, maybe he did something to Krishna. They were in constant fear that Kamsa did something to Krishna, and everyone started crying miserably. Now again, Sarupa was telling the story to the Mathura Brahmin. When he was telling the story, he was crying miserably. Again and again, he was lamenting because he was so confused. He was lamenting over and over. And the Brahmana who was hearing the story again brought him to consciousness by sprinkling water on him. And the Brahmin, he was so eager. He was telling Sarupa, please tell what happened that. What happened after that? What happened after that? Did Krishna really go back? So like how we are also anxious to know if Krishna really went back or not. Like that, the Mathura Brahmin was so anxious to hear. Yeah, Sarupa, tell me what happened. I want to know what happened. Sarupa was also in that mood where he was recollecting this pastime so intensely. So, but still he had to speak for the benefit of his disciple, for the spiritual benefit of his disciple. He gathered himself and he tried to speak. He said, Krishna stayed there for some time. But then Later, he heard from some reliable persons and counselors like Uddhava about the heavy sorrow that the Vrajavasis were undergoing. And Uddhava had told him that the sorrow can never be removed by any means. So therefore, Krishna somehow he managed to fully explain the state of affairs to the people in Mathura. And he told that the Vrajavasis are really, really suffering. Please try to understand. And he told them, only by returning to Vrajabhumi can Krishna actually console the Vrajavasis. So finally, it's so nice that at least in the spiritual world, Krishna convinced the Mathuravasis that he wanted to go back to Vrajabhumi. Krishna and Balram, they exchanged their kingly garments for the garments of cowherd people, and happily they went back to Vraja. And when Krishna and Balaram came back to Vrajabhumi, Krishna, who is Vidakta Murdhanya Mani, meaning he is the most gracious performer of valorous deeds, and because he is Kripakula, driven by compassion for suffering of his devotees, because of these two reasons, Krishna went back. And when the Vrajavasis saw that Krishna was coming back, they were so happy. And all that they thought was this was a very, very bad dream. So like this, they just wanted to forget everything that had happened. Krishna went back to Vrajabhumi and everybody was happy. Everybody was so relieved and they just thought it was a terrible dream and we want to slowly forget everything that had happened. That Krishna, you went there and you came back. So like this, in the spiritual world, in Goloka Vrindavan, the residents there, they do not have any concept of past or future. For them, everything is present because they completely forgot this episode that Krishna actually went to Mathura and came back. So for them, there was no past or a future. Even in their dreams also, they cannot imagine Krishna leaving them and going somewhere. It's a very hard thing. So therefore, these pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan, they happen over and over. And every time it happens, they also forget it over and over. So I will explain that in a minute. This episode of Akrura coming and taking away Krishna actually happens again in the spiritual world. One another occasion, the same Akrura came on his chariot as if it had never happened before. Even Akrura also did not think that he had come previously. Akrura came back all fresh. Okay, the same episode happened again. Akrura came on his chariot as if he had never come before. And actually, everybody in the Vrajabhumi, they also underwent the same pastime of leaving Krishna leaving them, and Krishna going on to the chariot of Akrura and going to Madhupuri. This pastime happens again and again in the spiritual world. Again and again, the Vrajavasis cried in separation, and after Krishna came back, again they forgot that this pastime had happened. Why is it so? Because everyone is bewildered by the Goloka atmosphere. There, in the spiritual world, these pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees happens over and over. It is like hitting a reset button. As far as we are concerned, these things will stay in our memory. Oh, this happened again. The same pastime is happening once more. So I should be careful, right? That's what. If the Goloka Vasis did not erase this from their memory by the power of the Goloka Dham, by the atmosphere of Goloka Vrindavan, then when Akrura came again, they would be more careful. But however, in the spiritual world, it is very interesting that once a pastime is complete, especially a pastime like this, where Akrura is taking them away from Krishna, taking Krishna away from them, what happens is there is a reset button. Okay, they completely forget that Akrura has come. And second time this pastime happens, Akrura comes and these people think it's a new pastime. Okay, so this is how it works in the spiritual world. Similarly, time and again, Krishna, over and over, he performs pastimes like subduing Kaliya. Sometimes he lifts the Govardhan again and again for the pleasure of his devotees. He performs all these wonderful pastimes and the devotees there, they feel that they're seeing it for the first time. Like this, the Lord enchants all his devotees. all of his pastimes, beginning with killing of Putana, are all eternal. They are happening over and over, again and again. And Krishna enjoys all these pastimes with his devotees in Goloka Vrindavan as long as they want it and he wants it. Yet each pastime there is repeated again and again, and still it remains completely new, as if nobody had heard of it or nobody had seen it before. Now, this description can confuse us. How can Krishna replay his pastimes that he has already performed? And how can demons like Putana be killed repeatedly? But these Krishna's pastimes are transcendental. They are unlimitedly attractive to all and unlimitedly attractive to all his devotees, whether they are eternal companions or they are new converts to pure devotional service or new entries into the spiritual world. Whoever it may be, everyone feels that these pastimes are the first time that they are seeing it. But it goes on and on and on as long as the devotees want to relish it. This is an inconceivable fact about the spiritual world. Everybody, they all feel, it's not like only the sadhana siddhas who went to the spiritual world see it as new. Even the eternal associates of Krishna who have seen it a million times, but still for them it is again and again new. Their hearts are completely absorbed in the meditation of the pastimes of Krishna, and gives them, and this absorption when Krishna is performing pastimes, that gives them a very special happiness. It's not just for the neophyte devotees or the neophyte residents, meaning the ones who have recently gone to Goloka, but everybody, it gives them some sort of special kind of happiness. And all the residents in Vrajabhumi, they are completely bewildered by this Kalakuta poison of supreme love for Krishna. And because of the supreme love for Krishna, the nature of that love itself is like some sort of poison, meaning a sweet poison, that makes them think that these events have never occurred before. So these high states of Krishna Prema, they have the power to create such bewilderment of not remembering or being aware that these are repeated pastimes. That is the power of Prema, that is the power of Goloka atmosphere, and that is the power of that poison of Prema. This is how it is explained. So these devotees, they enjoy pastimes with Krishna, and Prema is there both in union and in separation. So it is true that the residents of Vraja, they all feel and the same thing, meaning everybody has similar experiences, including Sarupa, who was a relatively newcomer to the spiritual world. Even he also had the same experience. He could not remember the pastimes over and over. So in pure devotional service, everybody is absorbed like this. And all the residents in Vraja, they are immersed in an ocean of current of sweetness. And this is the nature of the spiritual world. So then when we talk like this, there could be a logical question. Why is that the pure devotees in Goloka Vrindavan are so forgetful? Meaning, when you talk about the spiritual world or when you talk of love of God comes only when you have perfect knowledge. So in perfect knowledge, where is the question of forgetting something? How can perfected people forget things? Okay, this pastime happened, but how do they completely forget that pastime and think this is the first time this pastime is happening? How can they be so forgetful? The answer given is that one who has prema, for him, omniscience comes automatically. But prema can redefine what is knowledge and what is ignorance. Meaning, so this is the statement that I just read, but what it means is that prema has the power to redefine what is knowledge and what is ignorance. By the influence of Yogamaya, you see in the spiritual world, the Lord himself forgets what he did before. So what to talk about the residents? He himself forgets many things, right? By the power of Yogamaya, because he wants it to happen. He himself forgets many things. So sometimes he remembers certain things for the sake of pastimes. Sometimes he forgets certain things for the sake of pastimes. So therefore, to facilitate these pastimes and to make the devotees relish these pastimes, it is possible for prema to redefine what is knowledge and what is ignorance. So therefore, in the spiritual world, even forgetfulness is transcendental. So it is not that they are ignorant, so they forgot, but rather they are transcendently ignorant to forget it, like that. So Krishna's pastimes are all Sachidananda. They are completely ecstatic. They are full of awareness. They are full of existence. And Krishna Leelas are all carried out by the power of the Lord's internal energy. The Lord's internal energy, which is Yogamaya Shakti or his Leela Shakti, is non-different from him. So therefore, they want to create a transcendental variety, and therefore these things happen over and over. And we should understand that there are no defects in Krishna Leela, even when Krishna wants to behave like an ordinary person. So these things are being clarified by Srila Sanatana Goswami. Now, Sarupa, so finally he told the Mathura Brahmin, so I have told you in great detail like this about Goloka Vrindavan's unique greatness and sweetness, which flow everywhere in that spiritual abode. This is what Goloka Vrindavan is. It's very, very sweet, it's very unique, and it's very exciting. So when Sarupa told the Brahmana like this, the Brahmana told, Sarupa, I see you as Gopakumar, you have achieved Krishna's abode after a very long travel. You went through so much, with so much effort, you went to Madhupuri. Then you went to Dwaraka. Then from Dwaraka, you went to Goloka Vrinda. So you made such a long journey to go and see Krishna there. But I have a question for you. How did you hold on when Krishna went to Mathura? How is it? How could you hold on to it? And did you feel like you wanted to stay there, or you wanted to leave that place in the absence of Krishna? What is it that when you went through, did you even want to stay in Goloka Vrindavan at that time? Then when this question was asked, Sarupa, he explained to this Brahmin that by the mercy of the Lord, actually all the residents in Vrindavan continue to live in Vrindavan itself. And everyone's mood is the same. All the residents of Goloka Vrindavan, nobody wants to leave that place because Krishna has left momentarily, or rather he has just left somewhere. Because they do not want to go anywhere. The relishment that they are having in Goloka Vrindavan is incomparable even in separation. The ecstasy that they feel in separation is so unique. And these devotees, they relish that separation so much. It is so ecstatic. That separation is so ecstatic. That anguish gives them some sort of happiness, which is beyond bliss. It is inexplainable. So therefore, these residents, they just want to stay there and they want to wait for Krishna to come. Just because Krishna left them and went, it's not that they want to leave Goloka Vrindavan. They just want to be there and they want to relish that separation because it's inconceivable happiness. That ecstasy is not found in any other place other than Goloka Vrindavan. Because it is because of a very special, unique love that Krishna has for the Vrajavasis and the Vrajavasis have for Krishna. Even when we read our Bhagavatam, we never see that the gopis, they went to Dwaraka, or they went to some other place in search of Krishna. They hold on to their lives and they experience Krishna in Vrajabhumi all the time. They are continuously thinking of Krishna in that mood of separation, and they feel that Krishna is present with them. So like this, these residents of Vrindavan, they never leave Vrindavan whether Krishna is there or Krishna is not there. Nobody feels completely satisfied in love in that abode. Everybody is hankering for more and more love. Everybody is hankering for more and more ecstasy. And all this is so inexplainable. So like this, Sarupa, he told the Brahmana, I can never give up Krishna's lotus feet. And I cannot stop serving him. Even in separation, I just continued to serve him over and over. So like this, Krishna, Sarupa, he revealed all the secrets of Goloka Vrindavan to the Brahmana. And he told the Brahmana that I do not see any much difference between this Vrajabhumi and that spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm here. I keep traveling from one place to other very, very easily. I'm always connected to this Bhauma Vrindavan and Goloka Vrindavan transcendentally. The connection is just instantaneous. It is not difficult for me to stay there sometimes and to stay here sometimes. For it is no less effort than what a farmer would take to cross over his field to reach his home. That is all. For me, it's like a small farmland, a distance between Goloka Vrindavan and the Bhauma Vrindavan, because these two planes are transcendentally connected. So that is the reason I am talking to you here, sitting in Vrajabhumi. I have revealed all the secrets of Goloka Vrindavan, the emotions of the residents, how they feel, how Krishna conducts himself in Goloka Vrindavan, and all this is a top secret. You should not be revealing it to anyone. In fact, I have myself arrived here only on the order of Srimati Radharani to specifically enlighten you. So therefore, keep it as a secret. And this is how Goloka Vrindavan is perceived. This is the spiritual world. And that Goloka Vrindavan is a never-ending stream of pastimes. So sometimes I reside here, sometimes I reside there. And actually, the truth is that I do not perceive the difference between these two worlds. They are transcendently connected. Even as of now, Sarupa, as he's in Gokul talking to the Brahmana, he was telling that I'm actually jumping from there and here, meaning I'm going there sometimes, I'm here sometimes, and I do not see any difference. Neither my sight nor the abode nor my hearing, nothing touches any material thing. Just because I am in Bhauma Vrindavan now talking to you, it doesn't mean that my senses are in contact with the material realm of Bhauma Vrindavan. For me, everything is transcendental. There is a transcendental channel between the spiritual world and this material realm of Vrindavan. They are completely spiritual actually, because a person who has reached the spiritual abode in Goloka Vrindavan, when he is traveling between these two realms, he is not touching the material Vrindavan, meaning his senses are not susceptible to a material touch. So therefore, he is able to perceive both of these as the same. And Sarupa also said that from time to time, I see some of the residents of Vaikunta or some of the residents in Ayodhya or Dwaraka. But when I see them, somehow I feel very sad for them, because I feel that they do not have this Krishna. I see them as suffering from separation from Krishna, but that is my perception. For me, all the devotees of all the expansions of Godhead are definitely, yes, from their point of view, they are definitely very blissful. But for me, after seeing Goloka Vrindavan, I just think, how can they even be happy? What sort of happiness are they having? I feel extremely fortunate. I feel so happy that I got this Vraja Krishna, Vrajabhumi Krishna. And I can never be happy, even for a second, without this Vrajabhumi Krishna. I really don't understand how anyone else can be happy without being in touch with this Nandanandana Krishna. So I'm very, very fortunate, and my happiness keeps increasing when I think about that special abode that I've attained by the mercy of Krishna, and therefore I'm unlimitedly happy all the time. He said, hey Brahman, what more can I say? I've told you all the glories of Goloka, all these residents, their glories, everything, all this is never ending. By honoring them, one honors their pure love that they have for Krishna. This love is the highest goal of life. Hearing about and describing these wonderful sports of Krishna and Goloka Vrindavan, and the sports of Krishna in Mathura Gokul, that is on this material realm, all this is the most worthwhile engagement for any person. This is the highest thing that someone should be discussing, and I've told you everything. However, I can only say so much. I'm telling you, I've told you everything, but understand that the Lord's pastimes are unlimited, and it is very, very difficult for me to really catch up with him. So all that I can do now is I can tell you, I've told you everything, and I can finish off by paying my respects to that most wonderful inhabitants of Goloka Vrindavan and that most wonderful abode of Sri Goloka Vrindavan. With this, the 6th chapter of part 2 of Srila Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrta, which is entitled Abhishtalabha, the attainment of all desires, is complete. So we just have one more chapter to go. And of course, it's a very extensive chapter because we have to see, did Sarupa go to Goloka Vrindavan? That is what we have to see. So we have to see that, and that's going to be a big chapter as well. And then we will reconcile so many questions that we have been having about the nature of the spiritual world. Why are demons there? What is this conception form? And there are so many questions about Goloka Vrindavan. All that will be dealt one by one in the future sessions. It is going to be interesting. I have not read it in detail. I will be reading it in detail and trying to present it in front of all of you. So please stay tuned so that we can relish this Brihad Bhagavatamrta together. And forgive me for all the inconsistencies while speaking and presenting. But thank you very much. And if you have any questions, comments, and realizations, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for such a beautiful narration. It was quite emotional that how come, even in the spiritual world, Krishna is giving them this separation. So, yeah, I had one question, but eventually when you were going through it, got answered. Because I was thinking, when Gop Kumara went, why only that time the Kaliya pastime? Why only that time the Keshi and this Arishta pastime happened? But then you answered that, they are going on and on and on. So it's whosoever goes will get to see that pastimes because they are never ending.
Yeah.
And how wonderfully you explained about the forgetfulness of Rajvasis. Even in the material world, we say, right, they are in the forgetfulness state, but that is out of love, not out of ignorance. So you explained it very nicely. So the only doubt, after the whole class I have is that, yes, Krishna came back because in Bhauma Vrindavan, it is apparently said that Krishna never comes back. But in spiritual world, he comes back. But still, the crying, the separation, it's so much, right? Because above Vaikuntha, it's without any miseries. But still, it's not a happy-go thing. Still in the Brajvasis and all the gopis, they were crying. So how to understand this? I know that crying is also transcendental. They are still relishing more, but somehow my conditioned mind is still thinking on the literal sense of crying, that why the separation is there, even for a moment, but why it is there.
Yeah, Krishna's pastimes have these rasas. Karuna rasa is there because without that, there is no relishment. Even in our material life, I'm just giving a very mundane example, but still we can try to apply it. When everything is perfectly going, right, there is boredom after some time. Like even, in this world, when they even make these movies or these serial soaps that they say. So even that also, when everything is perfect, after some time, there is boredom. There's like, oh, there's nothing happening. The mother-in-law is not doing something interesting to trouble the daughter-in-law. So these things are there, okay? But unless these things are there, there is no relishment. It's like, oh, it's so plain. That's how life becomes. Like, for example, a classic example is Mahabharata. Why is Mahabharata so popular among the masses? And that is because there is so much going on, so many stories and so many emotions and all sorts of things. One person is plotting against the other, there is doing this, there's doing that, there is separation, because it's full of so many rasas and pastimes. That's the reason why it becomes so popular. Now, I'm just giving a very plain example. Please don't take it very literally. It's just like for us to understand. Like, for example, but you take Ramayana. Ramayana is very straightforward. Okay, so Sita, Rama, both of them, they went, Rama was banished to the forest. Rama, Sita were in the forest. Ravana came and kidnapped Sita. The same thing, right? It's very plain if you see. But this Mahabharata is like, with all sorts of enjoyment, all sorts of things, so many stories, so many sub-stories, and people get very excited. Oh, why is that? That is, and people can somehow connect more. I have seen that Mahabharata gives excitement to people over Ramayana. Why? Because all this is happening. So similarly, I mean, okay, now just forget, it's not a direct comparison, don't take it as a direct comparison. But in the spiritual world, why are there two parties, right? You have Radharani's party and Chandravali's party. And why is it that there is a competition there? That is to increase the rasa. Because if everything is plain, everyone is happy, then after some time there's like, okay, so what? There is like that. So if everyone is loving Krishna, everyone is in Sambhoga, everyone is with Krishna, they'll not know what is separation and reunion. What is the happiness in reunion? So unless we get back that happiness in reunion, we'll not realize the value of having his association before the separation.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, the examples were definitely of this world, but yeah, could really relate, the way you explained. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. So now waiting for the last chapter, Jagadananda, the bliss of the world, and really want to uncover everything. I really want to read, go through, but I'll stop myself.
I've not gone through, because if I go through, I'll...
That's why, I mean, I'm tempted to go through, but I've closed my book because I want to go through with you. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kirti Vasundari Mataji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, such a wonderful class and very divine. The each and everywhere words you said, actually it was filled with the rasa of the Krishna separation and everything. Actually, I need a small clarification, Mataji. First, I had a question actually throughout while reading these Krishna stories. I had a question. When Nanda Maharaj usually used to go to Madura and Dwaraka, etc., why not the Vrajavasis go to Dwaraka and meet Krishna? Like that, I had a question, but you answered that they'll be staying in Vrindavan. Now, my question is, what is the state of the people in Vrindavan? Like, are they confused? Like, Krishna is not with them, so they're feeling the pain, and at the same time, they see Krishna everywhere, like they're experiencing them. So they're a little bit confused, or they know Krishna is not with them and they want to feel the pain. So what is the state of the people there?
Oh, wow, that's a very difficult question. Okay, so what is the exact state? They are seeing Krishna everywhere, meaning because of their separation, like they're seeing Krishna everywhere. Are they aware that Krishna is absent and hence they are seeing everywhere, or they are really seeing everywhere and they have forgotten that Krishna is absent?
No, they know that Krishna is not with them. They know that Krishna left them and they want to experience the pain. So that is one state, or they know Krishna left them, they are in pain, but still they are in a confused state. They are not sure whether Krishna went or Krishna is, what I'm seeing is real Krishna. Like, sometimes the mother, when the baby is not with her, sometimes she knows baby is not with her, but she will see babies in the room. Like she enters the room, she can see them. So I'm trying to know whether they were confused or they were, we know Krishna is not here, but we want to feel the pain. So what is their state?
Okay, this is very difficult to answer because that is the nature of Yogamaya and Prema. See, sometimes they realize that Krishna is actually not there, so that's the reason we are suffering and we are seeing Krishna everywhere. Sometimes they forget also that Krishna has actually, Mataji, this is like, like say, okay, let's do this. We are seeing a movie, okay? We are seeing a movie and we really love the movie so much that we are into the character. We are completely into the character. And that 3 hours when we are in that theater with all this, lights off and everything, we are into that character and we have thought that this movie is a reality. So we have become a part of it. Okay. Now, the question is, at the back of my mind, do I know that this is only a movie, but I have to go out? Same thing you can the same example you can apply to a dream.
Mhm.
See, the experiences that you have in the dream are so realistic. Like, for example, the dream of you have a bad dream, you're sweating, right? Your experience itself is that you're sweating and you are really into it. But then, even in the dream, sometimes you think, oh, this is a dream, don't take it seriously. Have you had that?
Yes, yes. Everybody
It
will
is
have
like that. It is very confusing. So it goes, on and off. Sometimes they have that feeling, sometimes they don't have that feeling based on Yogamaya's actions.
Mhm. Okay, okay.
Was it helpful?
Yes, Mataji, because in real life we experience that. So
Yeah.
are the Vrajavasis, they are also having the same experience, or they're getting a different experience from normal material people. So that's what I'm
It is
thinking.
very similar, but it's at a higher level, meaning it's in by the power of prema. Just to
Okay,
do with Krishna.
with Krishna Prema, and they're experiencing it in a transcendental state, and we are experiencing it in a material
In
state.
material level, that's all.
Okay, okay, that's wonderful, Mataji. Thank you so much for the class. I really loved it. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. Thank you, Lakshmi Mataji.
Nice answer, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you for... yeah, and also I remembered your dream example as well as I was talking. Thank you. Inspired.
Hare Krishna Mataji, that was a very nice class. I liked how you explained the pastimes.
Thank you, Akshita. It's such a pleasure to have you on the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Bol Mataji.
Yeah, I know it was a difficult question, but I didn't actually get the question so clearly. Are you able to kind of restate it for me?
Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to restate the question? I don't know if I'll do a good job restating it.
Again, okay, Mataji, I'll try my level to ask it again. Mataji, the question was when Krishna left the Vrajavasis, they were feeling the pain of Krishna's not there. Now my question was, so some Vrajavasis, they may know, yes, Krishna is not there. I'm feeling the pain, and they may be experiencing the pain. But same time, when they are walking around the forest and everywhere, they may sometimes see Krishna. So I want to know whether they are in a confused state. Are they experiencing the confusion in their mind? Oh, Krishna is here. He didn't leave. And sometimes when they go back, they feel, oh, Krishna is not here. He has left me. Is this a state of Vrajavasis? Or every Vrajavasis conformly they know, yes, Krishna has left me and we are in pain. Okay, let us experience the pain and let us wait for Krishna. So what is the state of Vrajavasi? That was my question. Thank you, Mataji.
You know, when you were asking the question, there was a thought came to me. You know, there's manifest Krishna and unmanifest, you know. And so, yeah. And so I was thinking that, you know, there's when there's that physical separation from Krishna, they do also feel his presence, but in that unmanifest state. So I was thinking that might be a possible reconciliation of how gopis could simultaneously experience his absence and experience his presence.
Yes, Mataji. That's right. Yes.
Wonderful, Mataji. Okay.
Thank you, Gaurangi Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Bol Mataji.
Thank you so much for the nectarian class. And I'm so happy Akshita is also attending. Whenever she knows you're giving a class, she's there. She says, I want to attend. And she takes her laptop and she even takes the notes.
Notes?
Yeah, so
very sweet.
See how much she's involved. And I'm sure other kids will also love it, Mataji, if you start this session for the kids.
Sure, Mataji.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
And if you can see, our whole family is attending actually your class. In 3 different rooms. I'm in the kitchen and they are in the rooms. So it's so wonderful to know that how Brajavasis don't want to live in Vrindavan because they also want to relish the happiness which they get after getting separated from Krishna. It's a different mood altogether. It's so difficult to understand, but yet it feels so wonderful to know such mood. And when you say that how they are like untouched from the material, happiness, I could relate it to our Srila Prabhupada and even our Guru Maharaj. Yet they are here, but how they are still untouched from this material world, and they are doing their best to give this to us. And all glories to Srila Sanatana Goswami. Because of him, we got to know so much confidential things, right, about Rajabhumi and all. And all glories to you for your service. Because of you, we are getting to know this because you are narrating it. So thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vrinda Mataji, for pouring out your realizations from the heart. It was very beautiful. Thank you very much, Mataji. Definitely, yes, we are so grateful to everyone.
Yes. Thank you so
we are so fortunate. Yeah, we are very fortunate. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
All Krishna's mercy, Srila Prabhupada mercy.
Definitely.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Vrinda Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much for a very nice class. It's a little high for a neophyte like me, but you made it a little simple. The question I have is, you're talking about different demons also there in the actual Golok Vrindavan, again being in Krishna's pastimes. That was interesting because many times during classes we have heard or while reading Krishna book that when the demons get killed, their spirit goes into the body of Krishna. And different commentaries, sometimes we have heard Prabhupada himself and other devotees say that they merge into Brahman effulgence, but Prabhupada in other places writes that they again enter into the kingdom of God. So what is the actual meaning? I mean, how do we understand this? How do we understand in the sense, actually, I do not have an understanding, to be frank. So I wanted to know how the demons again get an opportunity to be with Krishna again. Is this again a Leela of Krishna? Is that how we need to understand this?
Okay, so thank you, Prabhuji, first of all. Thank you very much. I'll divide this question into two parts. The first part is what happens to the demons when they are killed by Krishna in the material world. So the demons, either they attain Sayujya, which is merging into the Brahman, but some demons in Krishna Leela also attain the spiritual world. Okay, they also attain the spiritual world, depending on a lot of things, how they are killed and what was their past birth. Like, for example, Garga Samhita talks about the past birth of the demons and their exact destinations, what sort of spiritual destination they achieved. Some of them just got Sayujya. For example, we read that Putana, of course, a famous example, she became a nurse in the spiritual world.
Right.
And then we hear about Aghasura, he got a four-armed form. He got Sarupya and Vaikuntha. Like that, there are different destinations for different demons. That is the first part of the answer. Now, the second part of the answer, who are these demons in the spiritual world? Are they the same people? That we'll figure out in one or two classes. But these rupas are called as conception forms or Abhimana Rupa. That is the technical name that is given. And how they manifest to serve in Krishna Leela, that we will figure out slowly. Because we will compile everything together and we'll figure out how it comes about. So the answer is that actually the question I've divided into two and separately answered. And then once we see that, we can see if we can reconcile these.
Thank you. You said it's Garga Samhita? Is that what you were?
Garga Samhita. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vivek Prabhu. Thank you for being with us and giving us your association.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. And yes, it was so touching to hear, as you know, the Vrajavasis were so sad to see Krishna leave. I could feel the emotion as you were speaking it. So it's really really beautiful that you do this service for all of us, and because every class I find myself sinking into the story through your narration. So I appreciate it so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany Mataji. Thank you for giving us your association. And certainly it's a real pleasure to read this book. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. And it's really wonderful when we do it in association, like we can share each other's realizations. That is really wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Maharaji. Very, very beautiful class, Mataji, as always, and very, very nice question answers. Actually, devotees' questions are very good. They are benefiting everybody, you know. It's so nice.
Very true. Yes, Shama Gauri Mataji, very well said. Thank you so much, Shama Gauri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Gopi, Dandavat Pranam, Every time, Mataji, you are taking in Sridham Vrindavan Badam, but today the separation mood also we feel it, the pain of gopis and the pain of Gwalas and the Yasoda Maya and Nand Baba, and even in Akrura also feel that pain, but he take them Mathura Dham, and when the chariot is little bit fast, then Akrura also feel the Lord Krishna and Balram pain, and they will sit in the river, and that time they explain everything. And Yasuda and Nanda Baba again came to take Lord Krishna and Balrama, and he's not able to take them in Sridham, Vrindavan Dham, Brajdham. At that time he covered the face, that Leela, we feel it, and the gopis are they are running and running, that Krishna and Balram is coming, but still they are not there, and again the separation mood. So Mataji, in separation mood also, they will see each and every dalis and every place in a Sridham, Vrajdham, Sridham, Vrindavan Dham, Krishna is still there present. So they are not going Dwarka Dham. They are staying in a Sridham, Vrindavan Dham only, because they feel that Lord Krishna is still with them only. So in separation also, they feel the Lord Krishna and Balram is with them only. Thank you very much, Mataji. Every time, Mataji, you are taking us Sridham, Vrindavan Dham. And today also we feel that separation Leela, Mataji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. You summarized the entire class. Thank you. Very, very wonderful. Thank you, Mataji. I hope you are feeling better with your health.
Yes, Mataji. My Prabhu also feel better.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji, for the update. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. A wonderful, wonderful class, and even the separation pastime, the details and the way you explained it was so beautiful. I really love the fact that Adishtasura gets to go to Gopeshwar Mahadev. That was, and then the
fun, right?
and then the horse demon, he becomes their ride, you know, if they want to have fun. So that was really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that I just was wondering is, okay, Satchidananda, that concept, is that only in the Brahman effulgence, or is that in Goloka Vrindavan also? Because they are also they're not experiencing bliss when they are in separation from the Lord, right? They are sad.
No, that's the best part, right? Their sadness is topmost ecstatic bliss. Remember, even in the first part of Bhagavatamrta, we saw this example of holding dry eyes and eating a hot sugar candy. So though it is actually burning, but there is so much happiness coming out of it. Now we have not experienced it, so we cannot say how exactly it could be. But the closest examples given by Sanatan Goswami, one is like when you're eating a very, very hot sugar candy, it burns your tongue, but at the same time it is so sweet that you want to continue having it. So that is the ecstasy that they are feeling in separation. Similarly, holding, what happens when you're holding ice for a long time, not even rice, any ice, just catch ice, and when you hold it for a long time, initially it's very, very cold. But after sometimes it starts burning. It's very hard to hold it. It numbs you, it starts burning, and it's very hard. So similarly, this separation that they're feeling from Krishna, it appears to be like, initially, yes, there is separation, there is feeling of misery and anxiety, all the negative emotions are there, separation feelings, but then there is some sort of a bliss that is born from that. That bliss is that ecstasy, that prema. Like for example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he exhibited these symptoms that comes at a very high stage of prema. So he exhibited, if you read Antya Leela, there are chapters about this, about how they feel, what they go through, all that. So for us, and seeing from outside, it looks like it's suffering, but actually it's not just suffering. It is beyond suffering. It's so ecstatic in their suffering. They're feeling ecstasy.
Yes, Mataji, it's I can't fathom what that is. So that's
we just know, we just know suffering and happiness.
Sorrow,
but,
yeah,
that's all. But having happiness in suffering, that is a unique thing only people in prema develop. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Clearly explains. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Indu Mataji. Anyone else would like to add?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, just one clarification needed. So Gopkumar, when he went with Nand Maharaj to Mathura Puri, so after that when Nand Maharaj came back, so even Sarupa came back, or he stayed with Krishna Balram?
Did he come back or he stayed with Krishna Balram? I don't know. It's not mentioned. Or have I skipped something? I don't know. Yeah, but I don't think it was mentioned.
I thought I missed it, so that's why, I was asking.
Yeah, I don't think I read anything of that kind. He didn't mention
but he
whether
went,
he was
right? But he went.
Yeah. He must have come back, logically, because everyone was asked to go, right? So, and he said, even I experienced that separation because, say, logically you look at it, the way the script comes. After that, the Mathura Brahmin asks him, so how did you manage to stay without Krishna? He asks that question, right? And that time he says, no, that is the nature of Goloka. We enjoy that separation. So I wanted to stay only there. So that means he has gone back.
Yeah, that implies that he went.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Preethi Mataji.
Mataji, I also have one question, just clarification. So Krishna's unmanifested like aprakat form, right? So does it happen for the pleasure of devotees by Krishna? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A basic question, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. So aprakat leela is the leela, meaning, you know what it is. So yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful class and nice question answer session, Mataji. Very beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gantharvika Mataji. Where is the Vrinda?
I made her kept quiet, Mataji, today.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Your class is very nice, Mataji.
Oh, Vrinda, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and encouraging me. Thank you.
Vrinda, please sing something for all of us. Little Vrinda, today your turn.
Yeah, today your turn. Sing.
Okay, Mataji.
Mataji, can she sing Narsimha Kavacham? Will it take
Yes. Yes.
Anything, whatever you like, Purinda.
Okay, Mataji, I learned Narsimha Kavacham already. I'll sing now. Wait. Mataji, can I be on video?
Yes, please, Purinda.
Yes.
Okay. Sing.
Narsimha Kavacham Vakshe Prahladenodira Pura Sarvavakshakaram Punyam Sarvobhadravanashana Sarvasamgatkaram Cheva Sarvamokshapradayatam Yata Nasimham Devesam Mevasinmasanastita Rutasam Trinayanam Sharamindu Samatrabha Lakshmaningiramamangamam Preethi Pirubashrukam Chaturbhujam Komalangam Svarnagundala Shobita Saroja Shobita Rastam Rannageyura Mudrita Tapta Kanchana Shankacham Vita Nirmala Vasasam Indradisulamodistam Smuran Manikya Diptibi Vilajitat Padanmam Shankachakra Dibi Varunmadaja Vinaya Suryamanam Vadanritam Srautkamala Sambasam Vidvadukavacham Pate Narsimho Vesirappato Lokarakshaka Sambhava Srutum Me Sarvagopi Stambhavasa Halam Me Rakshatu Jvanim Narsimho Pato Soma Suryatilochana Smutum me Patu Duhari Mudivarya Susipriya Nasam me Simhana Sastu Mukam Lakshmi Mukapriya Sarvavidyajita Patu Simho Rasanam Vapram Patinduvadanam Sada Prahlada Vandita Simho Patu me Kantam Kanda Puparanandakrit Divyasa Sovida Bujo Rasamma Patu Sarvata Me Bujo Karo Me Deva Varado Rasamma Patu Sarvata Vidayam Yogi Satyasya Anivasam Badu Me Hari Madhyam Patu Hiranyaksha Vakshava Gukshi Vidarana Nadin Me Badu Hari Vanabi Brahma Samskrita Brahmanda Kota Yakatya Yasya Sopatu Mekatim Ilham Me Padu Gurana Mantranam Gurharupat Uru Manobhava Pado Jano Nira Rupadrik Change Patu Darabara Bhattayo Sarukechari Sudaraja Padapato Pado Medu Harishwara Sastasisha Purusha Pado Me Sarva Shaktanam Mahogra Purva Dapado Mahaviragda Jogdida Mahavishnu Dakshimedo Mahadalastunairato Pashime Padu Sarveshu Deshime Sarvato Mukha Patu Yavyam Somyam Bhishana Vigrahai Ishamyam Patu Badro Me Sarva Mangaladayaka Samsara Bayada Patu Vigno Krityurya Kechari Idam Rasumha Kavacham Prahlada Mukavanditam Bhaktiman Yappate Nityam Sarva Papetya Mucchati Putravandanavan Loke Upajayate Yam Yam Kamayate Kamam Tam Tam Prapnyotya Shamshayam Sarvatra Jayam Apnoti Sarvatra Jaya Vipavet Bhumyantariksha Divyanam Ghananam Vinivaranam Vishtikorara Sambhuta Vishapaharanam Param Brahmarakshisa Yakshanam Durotsaranakaranam Udeva Palapatrena Kavacham Dikitam Shubham Karamudetu Devena Yukarma Siddhaya Devasura Manushyasu Vamsaveva Jayam Labet Eka Sanyam Drisanyam Va Yappate Niyato Naraha सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं मुक्तिं सविन्दति रातुं सदिहस्राणि पठे शुद्धात्मनां नृणां कवचस्यास्य मन्त्रस्य मन्त्रसिद्धिप्रजायते अनेन राजेन कृत्वा वर्त्मानि मन्त्रनं तिलकं विन्यते तस्तोत्रस्य गयं दरेत् त्रिवारं जपमानस्तु दत्तं वाप्तविमन्त्रणम् नाशये नो नरो मन्त्रं सिंहो नादमाचरेत् कस्य रोगा प्रणश्यन्ति एषव्यूकुक्षितं भवाः किमत्र बहुनोक्तेन किमत्र बहुनोक्तेन गर्जन्तं गर्जयन्तं निजभूतयतरं होतयन्तं हतन्तं रूपशन्तं स्थापयन्तं भूतयतरं होतयन्तं शितन्तं रूपशन्तं अनन्तं रोषयन्तं हतन्तं पूर्णं वीक्षन्तं पूर्णयन्तं शरणिकरशतैर्दिव्यसिंहं नमामि इति श्रीब्रह्माण्डपुराणे प्रह्लादोक्तं सिंहकवचं हरन्तं पूर्णं जय नरसिंह जय नरसिंह जय जय नरसिंह प्रह्लादे जय पद्ममुखा पद्मभृङ्गा उग्रं वीरं नमा विष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं विष्णु मृत्योर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्। Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Amazing! Look at that! Oh, Krishna!
Thank you.
So beautiful!
That was nice, Brinda. Thank you, Akshita.
Brenda, how old are you? Brenda, how old are you?
What are you? I'm 5.
What? Oh, that's not possible.
So beautiful, Vrinda.
Yes, Vrinda.
Beautiful, Vrinda. You are so sweet.
You memorized all of that?
Yes.
You memorized?
Wow.
I also know 108 slokas.
Huh?
She cannot read or write, Mataji, yet. She's 5-year-old. She memorized it.
How long it took for her to learn?
Mataji, I started long back, but I did not show much interest. Last 2-3 days, she learned it, Mataji.
Mataji, thank you for all encouraging me. I'm very happy.
You, that was beautiful. Thank you, Vrinda.
You said it took 2-3 days for her to learn?
Yes, Mataji, yes. Strictly 2-3 days, Mataji. I started 1 year ago, but I was also a little busy. I couldn't give concentration on that.
I have a game.
Stop. This is all recorded.
Wait. What happened?
So beautiful, Vrinda. You are looking so
amazing.
Thank you, everyone.
You are amazing. Wow. I can't believe.
Thank you very much for your association, Vrinda.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Vrinda.
Thank you, Mataji, for the opportunities to sing. Thank you for encouraging her. It encourages me also, Mataji, to teach her more. Thank you so much.
Hari bol, Hari bol. Wonderful, Vrinda. Vrinda, did you read the comments? Oh, okay, I'll read it for you. It says, Hare Krishna, so good to see everyone. Very beautiful, Vrinda. Wonderful, Vrinda. Wonderful, Vrinda. Everyone says wonderful, Vrinda to you.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
So, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, you also memorized with her?
Yes, Mataji, not as perfect as she can.
Kids have very good memory. I'm so happy.
All of these friends are encouraging me and
Oh, you're so sweet.
happy.
So sweet.
He's talking like a 20-year-old girl.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all so much. It was very nice. What a beautiful experience. Yeah, you got one more comment. So nice, Brenda. Very nice. Anyone else has anything to add? Any comments, realizations? Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much, and thank you so much, Linda, for singing.
Thank you, Mataji.
Very nice. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us. And
Hare Krishna Mataji, just a small clarification. Sorry for diverting the mood.
No problem.
Mataji, finally you said that this experience was taking place again and again in Goloka.
Yes.
So my small clarification is, Mataji, since this experience is the ultimate experience, only this particular episodes takes place again and again, or there are many like this?
All episodes, Kalia pastime, Govardhan pastime, some Putana's pastime, all of them, they happen. Sometimes they happen with variety as well. Like we see that Kalia pastime was very different when we heard it the first time that Sarupa went, right? He saw Kalia's pastime at a different level. So there are, of course, some variations, but these pastimes, they go on, all the pastimes.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. That's clarified.
And sometimes the variations are very interesting. The same pastime has different variations, so that makes it even more fun, right? So
so all the variations are there in the book.
No, meaning some variations are noted, but like that there are unlimited variations. We don't know everything. One or two examples are given.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Haribol.
Haribol. Okay. So thank you all so much for joining again. And we can end the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrta ki jai, Sanatan Goswami ki jai, all glories to the assembled devotees. Krishna Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.